clicking, and it just, you could feel the bone on bone. And there was a few points there where a tear came down my face. I was just not a happy girl, but the boys kept hanging back for me, which was awesome. And it was today was a big day about teamwork, which was awesome. And we pulled each other through it. We had some phenomenal hills to go down, which was fun. And the rain wasn't so bad. I could probably wring out my socks again.
That massive big hill. All of a sudden the rain just came up again.
Yeah. Well, like we were saying yesterday, I would prefer the rain than the wind.
Yeah.
You know, no headwind. This day was a little bit more enjoyable for me, even though we were soaking wet and cold sometimes.
Some of those hills, they were awesome.
The downhills.
The downhills. Oh, yes, definitely downhills. When I say hills, I mean downhills. The uphills are more bastards.
I would have to agree. I mean, there's just so much adrenaline that just goes surging through your body when you're cruising down that hill, and the semis are pushing you over to the shoulder that just isn't there, and there's bumps in the road, and you know, you've got to really maintain your focus because just one little bump taken the wrong way can make you eat pavement. So it was quite thrilling.
We're actually coming through Golden on a tour with 3 bicycle riders who are raising money for autism. Well over $500,000 on their way to $750,000, and man, would it ever be nice to say $1 million for the research and cause for autism. So, you know, if you are so inclined this evening to take part in that, we're going to set a little box out, and hopefully the folks of Golden will be interested in being part of making our way to $1 million for autism. Yeah. That'd be great. But in the meantime, we're going to entertain you with a little bit of Brian Bailey in the circus style with our special guest Sam Masterton from Calgary, Alberta, and some of our own music, and then some other guys' music.
Well, it is the Western Ride for Autism. Basically, we have 3 incredibly different people from completely different backgrounds all coming together to ride from Calgary to Vancouver for children with autism.
Day 3 begins with Nancy being interviewed by a radio station.
Along the trek so far, I believe, now I haven't checked out with our little fundraising band, because most of the time, by the time we get to the city, we pass out. But I know they raised $250 in Banff, and I know, this is what I know for sure, and I also know that yesterday we got flagged down by some traffic, and we raised $40 just from people on the highway. Yeah, so that's been kind of fun. Absolutely. Well, we're followed by a really big RV that we really like the RV because he protects us from the evil semis. And not that we don't love them, but you know, they're getting a little close. And on the back of the RV, we've got a really big banner that basically states caution, don't hit us, and the Western Ride for Autism. So people can, as they drive by, they're kind of honking their support. So every 2 seconds, one of us is literally jostled off our bike in fright because someone's honking at us, but it's all for support. This is so much fun. This is so much fun. This is what all charities should be like, because we're just having a blast. Like, we're not so keen on some of the uphills, and we're going over Rogers Pass today, so you know, wish us luck. But that we're just having a ball, and everybody that we see is laughing and smiling, and you know, really, that's what everything should be all about. All right, thanks so much. Bye-bye. Today is day 3, and it is the second hardest day of the entire ride. First hardest obviously being Coquihalla. We are going, to give you an example, yesterday we only ever climbed about 200 meters in total, and there were some pretty big climbs yesterday. Today we're climbing 600 meters, but we're going down 1,000. Today the wind is changing, and we're actually going to get an easterly wind, which means it's coming from the east, and we're going to be pushed downhill. We've got like 3 really evil climbs, and then once we get to the summit, as soon as we get there, we know we're going to be in a very happy place, because from there it's purely downhill. Right, a 6% grade. This hill's a 6% grade, so it's a tough one.
I don't know how long it goes on for either. Could go on for the next half hour. Yeah,
It's a long way up from Golden to Rogers Pass, and there is some concern about Nancy's knee.
How are we doing, Chief? Tricky knee? ice?
going as far as I can. And
Right.
then we'll ice it up. The deep cold thing is working for the time being.
You guys all right for water?
Water.
You're drinking lots, eh?
Oh no, I'm good. I got lots. I should probably be drinking more.
Yeah.
Just so cool in the morning, I didn't feel thirsty.
I don't think you can
But you know what?
overhydrate. Yeah.
I feel the thirst coming on.
Yeah.
All right, I gotta keep going. I got a serious case of willpower.
The road from Golden into Glacier National Park and ultimately Rogers Pass rises almost constantly, but is interrupted by scattered sections where the riders can coast and save their strength.
A hill yet.
Golden sits at about 800 meters above sea level. Rogers Pass is almost 600 meters above that.
I'd have to get further into it. I haven't been paying attention to the hills at all. I've been just looking straight down. What I think, I know the three major climbs are as soon as we actually get into the mountain parts.
Yeah,
This is just like a
We're gonna
pre-hill.
go up and around and down, and then up and around and down.
What's your elevation?
850. So yeah, we've climbed about 50 meters.
Great, enough talk.
More okay. Gotcha.
All right. Tally ho. My legs are going out, or yours is going in.
Going in. That's true.
And I think with the ideal seat height, you don't have to concentrate on where your legs are. You just gotta concentrate on pumping your legs.
No, that's true too. Well, I did try the lower that one time to bounce.
Yeah.
Patty was on that one, and it sucked. And so far, comparison of training, like 10 times better.
You know what?
So-
I'm not gonna argue, Nancy. Just have it your way. Fine. It's over.
I told you I'd squirt water at you. There you go.
A pit stop for food, a check of the bikes, and for the first time, the first aid kit comes out. The RV crew is made up of singer, songwriter, and performer Sam Masterton and his fiancée, Tova Wilson. Sam knows a little bit about everything, from tuning guitars to repairing bikes to basic first aid. Tova is usually on food duty but plays a key role in the entourage, making sure that everyone is getting the nutrition their bodies need during the ride.
Telling me I'm slow.
That's not what I'm saying, Nancy.
I was joking.
Okay.
Here, take my garbage this time.
Nancy's knee will be treated with cold packs to help control the swelling, painkillers to control the pain. Today's destination is still hours away and the climb isn't over yet, and this rest stop, like all of them, doesn't last very long.
Taking it one hill at a time. That's all we can do. An easy pace. Go gingerly, keep the legs moving, fluid, stop from stiffening up. We might take a few more breaks to get up to the summit. Well, that's all right. I'd like to just keep my breaks short though. Have a lot of movement with the legs. Find the more that I stop and stand around, things stiffen up. And we're just not getting this mountain done.
While this leg of the trip will take them to Revelstoke, today's real destination is Rogers Pass at the summit of Glacier National Park. At this time of year, the glaciers are too distant and indistinct to photograph. Summer in the mountains, like in the rest of Canada, brings road repairs and construction. The lineups are long, and one board passenger has jumped on a skateboard and seems to chase Nancy down the hill. Soon the land will rise again, seemingly ever upward toward the pass, 1,382 meters above sea level.
Your bike needs a new job.
My knee needs a lube job. It's out of grease.
You have to be a maintenance.
summit, and they're big climbs. So I'm thinking that sign that I saw that said 40 minutes ahead, not so true.
The shoulders are narrow and the climb relentlessly steep. Pat has chosen a low gear and his legs bend more than 70 times a minute to defeat the effects of gravity and a constant wind that is blowing almost directly against the riders.
Yeah, we're moving into a 20K wind, and this is supposed to be an easterly. That's really pretty up there, though. I didn't even notice that yet. Easy. Slow down. Well, that was close.
They know they are nearing the top when they hit the first in a series of sheds. Special tunnels built specifically to provide some shelter from the deadly avalanches that make headlines every year. Nancy has been caught by Brad and Pat, and they ride together for a short time. But this long push up towards the pass has taken its toll, and she is in some difficulty and soon lags behind the two other riders. When she arrives at the rest stop near the actual summit, she is clearly exhausted.
Oh, stretch it out.
Crashing must have food.
All those sore muscles. Give them a nice stretch.
The expression, "it's all downhill from here," has never been more true. Off the summit, the temperature has changed, and another quick stop allows Nancy, Brad, and Pat a moment to relax, refuel, and come to terms with the reality of large trucks on narrow mountain roads. But like all breaks, this one is short, and it's time to bring this day to an end. Brian Bailey and the circus have already left for tonight's gig in Revelstoke. Sam will join them, and the riders will put in a brief appearance before everyone turns in early.
Did you take my lighter?
No. Look into the camera.
Is it recording?
No.
Stunk 77 times.
And then we're off. Camera 1, camera 2, camera 1, camera 2. Pretty looking river. Thompson, I do believe. Don't quote me on that. If I'm wrong, edit that out.
Day 4 is singularly uneventful. It is, given the landscape, like a ride in the park. The road winds out of Revelstoke, and in very short order, the riders are on a stretch of the Trans-Canada Highway that is bordered on one side by Three Valley Lake and the chateau that is postcard perfect, and by the sheer cliffs of the Monashee Mountains on the other side. Despite a relatively easy day, no one knows what problem, delay, injury, or accident awaits around the next bend in the road. There is no temptation to stop and enjoy the view. The riders must press on, trying to keep to a timetable that is, in a very true sense, punishing. This day calls for 5 hours on their bikes. Now, more than halfway through the 7-day ride, Nancy recognizes that she needs help to take some of the strain of pedaling off her injured knee. Brad's special shoes clip right into the pedals on his bike, and he more or less becomes one with the pedaling action. If a muscle begins to cramp or becomes sore in one leg, he can give it a rest and transfer the work to his other leg, which can then do double duty by both pushing down and pulling up. This also allows him to use different muscles, which spreads the work of pedaling and greatly lessens the chance of injury in the first place. Pat uses toe clips, which effectively accomplish the same thing. Nancy has been riding without clips of any kind and now decides it is time to try them.
The quad starts stiffening up. I just switch over to pumping on the other side, up and down.
You got it. Like, that's a huge advantage. I was even trying to picture that too, the whole pulling up thing or whichever else, and oh man, I could just tell right off the bat. So how would I clip in, or how would I?
There is no clipping. You just slide in.
Oh yeah.
And it's just a toe thing.
Like Pat's, because Pat's is a slide in, right?
Let's throw them on. Yeah.
Most pedals nowadays are just one-sided. Like there's only
Brian
one.
Bailey helped Sam install toe clips on Nancy's bike.
Yeah, well that might help hugely.
So you have the ability when you're feeling uncomfortable just to do.
And like I say, it gives you, now you've got 4 options. You can push
Go
down
up,
on left or
down,
right, or
down.
up on left or right.
Yeah, because I have no quad strength in my right leg right now because of my knee. And so I'm pedaling mostly just with my left foot. And I drop back, like I have a threshold, like most of the time. When you're trying to catch up or you're trying to get a burst of speed to go over a bridge, you just start pedaling harder. I can't pedal harder, like the muscle gives out or something. It's the weirdest feeling in the world, so.
All it is, you're just riding along.
Do-do-do.
At any point, you just flip, just flip it back and then put it in. Then all you're gonna do is you're gonna reach down and just give it a little tug like that. And then, once you've got that put in like that, then you can start pedaling like pulling up too, right? So anytime you get into somewhere
Concerns
where you're
about
feeling
Nancy's knee began in Calgary before the ride started.
I don't know how much she's told you, but she's been advised by her doctor that she probably, it would be best for her not to do the race. But with the sort of injury that she has, it would be considered a minor. It's a minor injury. It's not going to affect her. She's not risking anything. Like, she's not going to impair function, or she's not at risk of arthritis or anything from it. But it's just really uncomfortable. Like, it's uncomfortable. It's going to cause pain, those sorts of things.
I know in conversation that we've had, there's really going to be nothing that can get in her way that won't allow her to finish this. So I'm not too sure exactly if anybody would be able to talk her out of it. Unless she absolutely is immobilized. That's the only way I could see.
Guys train for years of their life to do the Tour de France, and they do a couple hundred clicks a day, and for those elite athletes, it's a lot. So this is not the Tour de France, but this is a good haul. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm waiting to see what happens.
Nancy finds it easy to adjust to using the clips, and the ride continues towards Salmon Arm. The terrain has flattened out for this part of the journey, and Nancy, Brad, and Pat make good time, hooking up with a police escort which guides them right into the parking lot of their hotel. At the end of day 4, they have added another 105 kilometers to their journey and are just 3 days away from Vancouver. Brian Bailey and the circus will raise money playing locally, and everyone will recharge their batteries, knowing the hardest day is still ahead of them.
Go, 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 go.
Day 5.
I think it's just going to be a nice day for a bike ride, personally.
I don't know the paths by name or those sorts of things, or just say which part, but as opposed to certain paths that are going to be the hardest, I think if you break it down into days, basically, the middle is going to be the toughest. First day is a shorter ride, they're getting into Banff, no problem, right? Second day, they still got the gusto going, and they haven't hit serious mountain terrain yet. But I think day 4, day 5,